It's not uncommon to see large trucks on some neighborhood streets just north of downtown Omaha. It's been the status quo for decades, but as the area continues to evolve, city leaders say it's time to go back to the drawing board. First Alert 6's Ron Johnson explains the plan they're working on.
Big rigs and semis follow the current truck route along both 16th Street and Lake Street. The well-traveled routes are both designated for these large vehicles. After 16 years in the neighborhood, Don Woods has come to expect when they'll drive past his home.
It's been usually in the mornings, fairly early, and then somewhat too in the afternoons as well.
Woods says he's seen a few accidents involving big trucks. His main concern is kids in the neighborhood.
When the trucks come through, it'd be harder for them to stop, and the kids sometimes, they range from, very tiny to kind of in their teens.
Omaha City Council member Lavanya Goodwin says the city is working to address traffic concerns. A proposed change would mean the streets seen here in red would no longer be truck routes.
We're also trying to consider how those trucks might be redistributed if in fact certain parts of the route, Nicholas and 11th Street, are closed.
Goodwin stresses they haven't reached a final decision yet. For Woods, he just wants a safer neighborhood.
I'm very big on, wanting to have a nice neighborhood, a place that's safe for our families.
In North Omaha, Ron Johnson, First Alert 6.
So some people are opposed to that shift, saying the city is essentially redirecting truck traffic from newly gentrified areas to low-income neighborhoods. Goodwin says a final decision on the route changes has not been made. City Council will address that in a few weeks.